It's been a fun week here of no shows, I guess. It's a fun week for you not having to watch me. We're back on the grind today, another best ball draft. And today, we're going to talk about some of the QBs that I'm realizing I'm not taking at all. Is it justified? Is it wrong? Two is the one in particular. Some social media threads floating around out there about his performance last year, how he really didn't add value to stacks, especially in the back half of last year. We will talk about it. I am already in a big board room. There we go. It's just filled right now. One of the slowest fills possible. So now I am suffering from my own actions here on the stream of trying to get you guys in less rooms. But we are in the big board, picking in the 4-hole here. Let's get a fun draft going here. Appreciate you guys joining here live or after the fact as well. But the best ball drafts, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m., they're back on once again. So let's get it going. Shout out to all the guys in chat as well. Spags over from Miami. No, I only had one beer in Miami. In fact, didn't eat till 12 the night I was there. It was really stressful stuff. Of course, trying to go and raise money for my sports betting app. Probably, hopefully, had some good results in terms of the presentation. My first real in-person presentation like that, doing it on the projector screen, doing the whole thing, taking questions from people who are savvy investors. There's one guy there who's has this water company. You guys know Liquid Death, I'm sure, the aluminum can water thing. There's a Florida company that does a similar thing called No Days Off. I think NDO is what they call it for short. And the guy I was talking to a little bit, and his level of knowledge about his customers and stuff, and things like, oh, our share of stomach is X amount in terms of the product. It was just a level beyond where I am with probably where I know I made a good betting product, as you guys hopefully have seen out there. The results, our guy Jason is the best test case for it, where he always sends me his positive news to make me feel good if we are in a tougher run or something like that in terms of the content picks. I know the app works well. I know it's pretty and all that stuff. But in terms of the level of knowledge about the customers, about the total addressable market, all these startup things that are very important, I'm having to learn there and having to get there. But definitely some interesting things there, some interesting to hopefully fall out, including hopefully a few checks. And if not, might be another opportunity for us to acquire a company while getting funding from somebody. So that's where we are with probably. Obviously, we'll see how it goes. But I do like to talk about this stuff here because, frankly, I have nobody else to talk about. My wife only asked me, hey, where's the money? Is basically the question I get from the wife. So that's how it goes. CeeDee Lamb goes 101 here. McCaffrey at the 102. Tyreek Hill, the man who I really think I'm happy to take Tyreek. I really don't want to with him very much. He's going at number 3. Jamar Chase would be a fine pick. Bijan and RB Pig. I feel like I take so much Jamar Chase, but I still want to take Jefferson, so I'm going to take Chase for now. Kind of think that if Minnesota gets a better QB situation, that Justin Jefferson is going to leap Jamar Chase by the time he gets to the Best Ball Mania in particular. Obviously, for the big board, we're not going to know that necessarily, but I think that's part of the reason that Jefferson is down right now. Obviously, last year, the injuries, the results not the best. This year, though, I think it's more of the QB situation, concerns about Sam Darnold being there and being the guy for a while. But now Minnesota, I feel like every team out there is throwing their smoke screens, or Washington throughout the smoke screen about, hey, we might take J.J. McCarthy at number 2. And then they still are talking effusively to Jaden Daniels in public, Cliff Kingsbury in particular. Still think it's Jaden Daniels 2, Drake May 3. Don't know that Drake May goes 3. Oh, okay. Mahomes at pick 6. Mahomes at pick 6. So we are in for something here for Jason, making the big leap of Mahomes 45 picks ahead of ADP. So somebody's going to get some discounts in the back half of the draft. Yeah, 42 picks ahead of ADP goes Patrick Mahomes here. So clearly for Jason here in the 6-hole, he's got no concerns about the stack for Patrick Mahomes. He is perfectly okay to go there, though. I kind of do think, it's certainly not a Tua situation where Patrick Mahomes, we know, the best QB in football, possibly en route to being the best QB ever. So I'm not going to compare those two on that level. But in terms of the fantasy production, especially if that defense can hold up despite losing, a L'Jarius Sneed kind of guy, I don't think that's going to affect the entire defense overall. I think they'll still be close to as effective as they were last year. If that's the case, you're just not going to get Mahomes doing what he's done in the past. You're not going to get those 400-yard days. You're not going to get 50 dropbacks in a game. So if you're taking Mahomes, I really think the better move is to be taking, one of Rashee Rice, one of Travis Kelce, take 2 of them, take the stack, take Hollywood Brown as a one-off. I don't love the Mahomes stack either, I have to say, and especially at pick 6, I very much don't like the Mahomes stack. Let's see. Got to catch up with the chat here. GMs, glad to see all the guys back in here. Who's your Devo? Sad. I don't want to call it Who's your Devo, but sad to see the icons going away from people who didn't renew, but do appreciate all you guys being here, of course. And the regulars, look, if you're a regular here, you add positive vibes to the chat. You don't have to pay money. Just, be cool if you did, but you don't have to. Especially if you get funding, then we don't have to worry about that less. But still, yeah, we got to have multiple businesses here. I'm a man of operations. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson going at the turn. Obviously, two different guys there in terms of their QBs. A.J. Brown would love to get his QB with Jalen Hurts. Obviously, going to be a chalky situation for that one. Garrett Wilson with his QB. I'm perfectly okay having a Garrett Wilson share without having Aaron Rodgers. As we talked about enough here, the last time Aaron Rodgers played a full season was not a good fantasy quarterback. Also, frankly, created some value for his guys, did not create much value for himself. So really in the situation overall, I think for Garrett Wilson, I'm much happier to take Garrett Wilson by himself than in a stack. And I think there's a lot of guys here that would fit that criteria. Officially peaking out, ready to be born in squirt years. Oh, yeah, 9 months. So, yeah, so you... Tyler is breaking the vaginal walls. I guess you wouldn't break a vaginal wall. He's breaking through the seal. So there we go. Oh, but man, Tyler killing here. One of my favorites. Appreciate him always. 5 Splash Play memberships. Thank you, Tyler, for that one. Of course, appreciate you guys and the support as always here as we try to grow this channel, the little engine that could. And now that all the streamers are back in the game, I saw Liam's hitting some more streams with Liam Murphy, of course, the BBM2 winner. Pete's doing some more streams. Our guy Bindles had Sacrilegious on a stream that did a lot of views. So good Bindles moving up the food chain. Lots of guys out there doing best ball content. I'm sure Spike Week as well. So some other great streams if you don't want to fill your day. And our guy Jaden, another free membership. All right, Jaden racks him up. Though if a free membership is going to anybody, I do think our guy Jay here, Jaden, glad it's going to be him. CLN, you got your review from me yesterday, and now you're not a member. I'm just getting dicked around here. You guys taking advantage of me not paying attention for 2 days. It's okay. What's happened in football the last couple of days? Malik Neighbors pro day that went nuts. So that's a good thing to see. Of course, I've been in the bag for Malik Neighbors for a while. Happy to take him at pretty much any spot in a draft. For Malik Neighbors, happy to see him get that 4.35 40. He said some quote about how people out there thought that he might run a 4.5 or 4.6, which I don't think you could watch anything of him and think that's possible. But that's what he said, and that's something. Devontae Adams starting to come up a little bit, I guess, more confidence in the Vegas situation. Rumors out there that Antonio Pierce really wants to trade up for Jaden Daniels, so that is something to watch out for. If somehow, the Commanders thing is not a smokescreen, they take McCarthy or May at 2. That's something to watch. I will take Drake London here, though. I don't get a lot of shares of Drake London. His ADP is coming up, and frankly, I don't want to have that be a blind spot in the big board. Happy to get Drake London in this new Atlanta offense. He'll be my wide receiver 2, right at ADP, basically. Would have been a better discount on Achane, better discount on Adams, but I think we're doing some 0RB shit here today. Did I hear vaginal walls? When in doubt, you've heard him here at some point. He looks so effing good. Yeah, Malik Neighbors, I think he really is a guy that, as I've talked about here, like Harrison is really good. Like Harrison, you shouldn't nickel and dime anything he does. And I think actually Matt Harmon made a good point about this. Might have been Matt Harmon. I'm pretty sure it was. But I feel like Matt's been on fire lately in terms of like people really wanting his wide receiver, the reception perception data, and also like his takes on receivers. He had talked about how like people really overvalue a guy who catches the ball at 7 yards, breaks some tackles, turns into a 15-yard play. Whereas like a guy who catches the ball 15 yards downfield maybe doesn't make a play on that, still equally as valid. It's still the same EPA. It's still all the things there, the value to what it means for the team. It's all there. And Harrison is a guy who's going to catch it at 15 yards. Neighbors is a guy who's going to break it at 7 yards and turn it into 15. I think the Neighbors is more fun, but both guys equally credible in different ways. 0020 here. Discounts kind of bled out. And I kind of want to have some fun today. And frankly, well, you know what? The South correlation for Olave and Evans is really tough to pass up. I'm still taking Malik Neighbors, though. Great pro day, man. I want to get some more shares. Neighbors has not been aligning well for me ADP-wise. And I like Malik Neighbors. As I've talked about on here, I think in terms of the shiftiness, like the size is going to remind you a pretty good amount of a Devontae Smith for sure. But I would say for Neighbors, what he shows to me, like the shiftiness and all that, a little bit of Tyreek with his east-west ability, a little bit of Debo as well with his ability to make plays out of the backfield. Less power for sure than a Debo. But I love Neighbors, man. He's got to land in the right situation. It does seem like his chances of laying in the right situation getting better. The Chargers seemingly maybe not going to go wide receiver at pick 5. A lot of signals so far from Jim Harbaugh talking about how they want to really shore up the offensive line, how that's where everything begins and ends for him. So I would say, that's something there where Neighbors could be floating around a little bit more than it might seem. But obviously, we'll find out. Big Jamar Chase vibes from Neighbors. Great to get both. Interesting. I think that Chase... I've never seen the shiftiness from Chase that I've seen from Malik Neighbors. Like Malik Neighbors, the east-west movability, the actual, let me check his avoided tackle rate because I don't have that window up right now. Yeah, 32% avoided tackle rate. So for a guy who got 10 targets a game, 31% target per out run rate, and he also is getting targeted a good amount downfield, for him to be avoiding tackles at a 32% clip is kind of nuts. For like a comparison's sake, that's about where Quentin Johnson was last year. And I know we probably don't want to hear guys compared to Quentin Johnson right now, but I would say that like that's the kind of player where you have, a shifty kind of player at receiver, 6'1" still. So he's got enough size. But, like I think for Neighbors, he's just a special kind of beast. And I'm very, very excited to get shares of him, even though got to be pretty excited about Mike Evans at 34 too. There we go. Oh, lost my month's badge. CLN paying the price tag, but appreciate you coming back and welcome back to the family, CLN. I won't put the hat on for you, but I'll give you a big old hug and some meatballs. I'll throw some meatballs at you. Call it a day. That's true. Nobody needs to avoid tackles anymore because they can't hip drop. So all the guys are going to go sliding off and going away. Also depends on where MHJ goes due to the Cardinals being a prime candidate to trade down. Yeah, look, I mean, there's a lot of fluidity, I think, for wide receiver more than QB, where I really do expect it to be a top 4 QB situation where you're going to get Caleb number 1. I think that one's pretty much, you should lock that in, I think. And if it goes squirrely, then that's an outcome that you shouldn't be playing too often. But Caleb number 1, to me, Jaden number 2 to Washington. I think all the signal's been there, and I think now they're trying to kind of smoke screen it back. I think it's still May at number 3. I think McCarthy, though, is definitely locked in at 4. And I'm perfectly okay with that, too. Denver, recently rumored to be trading up as well. Minnesota, lurking around with their 2 first-round picks to move up. I think that one of those teams, if not both those teams, move up. And in New England, Robert Kraft said that he did want to draft a QB, but he's going to leave it to the front office. So that could be him kind of preemptively hedging a little bit there to say, like, hey, I wanted a QB, but the front office went a different direction. So he's kind of covered both ways. If it works out, then he deferred to his guys and they did great. And then if it works out poorly and they miss out on an elite QB prospect because they traded down, then he can go, well, the front office thought that was a good move and we got draft capital. So some outs. Giants getting MHJ? I would hope not. That's one of the worst landing spots for him, potentially. Like, I don't want him going to a spot where it's Daniel Jones and Drew Lock thrown to him. It does make sense, I guess, if he's your Slayton upgrade. Like, that's a pretty huge upgrade, but, I for fantasy, I would not want to see that one. So we talked about a lot here. I am very much in the bag for Keenan Allen. I feel like I'm kind of in a rookie mood. I feel like I'm kind of feeling rookie-ish here. And I'm going to go with Dunze, too. I like that we got 2 vets here. We got Chase and London, 2 guys who are going to be in better situations next year, we would hope, with a healthy Joe Burrow, a Cincinnati offense that'll look a little bit more fluid. And frankly, not having Joe Mixon there, I think will be a good thing for Chase. Like, Moss is going to take some of those touches away. Chase Brown's going to take some touches away. But I think overall the situation, and you still have the potential out of T. Higgins forcing a trade. So Chase, I like a lot. Drake London, we talked about the most public team, I think, right now in drafts is going to be Atlanta. We've seen Drake London get steamed up. The hope is that he becomes a fractional Justin Jefferson. I'm willing to make that buy-in. Guy has been great against press coverage, which is sometimes a thing that matters a lot for receivers as a pro. For him, better scheme, plus having the physical ability, plus having that ability to get off guys at the line. Pause. That's something for him that I like. And then for Neighbors and Rome, I mean, Rome, as I talked about, I had reservations going into the combine. He proved every one of them wrong. Since then, I've been happy to take him, and I was still taking him before that anyway. For Neighbors, like, I'm very excited to have him. For Rome, we're making a bet on the rookies who aren't Marvin Harrison. And look, Marvin Harrison, to me, as sure of a thing as he can get. But what if we get a nut landing spot for Neighbors, a nut landing spot for Odunze, and we do get Harrison to the Giants? I might have the 2 best rookie wide receivers here at reasonable ADPs, so I can live with it. Spags love rookies because he gets older and then they get younger. It's well, they stay the same age. I believe it's the exact quote from Matthew McConaughey. But yes, I get older. They stay the same age. But I do like rookies. I feel like for me, anything in life where it's like, oh, here's a new situation. Like I want to always view the most positive possible outcomes of it. And that's true of football. That's true of general life things. So I definitely, I have that bias. But as I've talked about enough here, like I think this is the best wide receiver class the NFL's had in a while, top to bottom. Like there's so many guys you can go to who are freak athletes, have big upside. All right, so we have Chase, London, Neighbors, Odunze. We can keep extreme zero RBing, and frankly, that might not be a bad idea here in a room where we do have some heavy running back play. This guy's got 3 running backs. But I'm going to take a share of James Cook. I've been kind of James Cook blind lately, and I feel like he is a guy that we saw a lot of late season signal from when Joe Brady took over. James Cook got fed like a bell cow back. There was still enough Latavius Murray there that I don't know if the trust is 100%, if they add somebody they really like in the backfield, whether it be in the draft, whether it be, even a Zeke or Dalvin. I don't know. Those guys linked to the Cowboys, by the way, lately. So, but I think with what we saw from Cook, I should be taking more stabs, especially with him falling 6 picks after ADP here. So I will take James Cook with our heavy wide receiver start. Our guy Jeff International check-in. Number 6 spot secured his Mahomes stack. He's clearly playing chess. We're playing checkers. He got his guys. I mean, he didn't get Rashee Rice, which feels like if you're going to take Mahomes at 6, you might as well just make the bet on Rashee at 19 and the bet on Kelsey at 30. And then the bet on Pacheco at just make the whole Chiefs bet, I think would be the move. But he does not do that one. I don't think that's the greatest game theory there for Jason. But if you were to take Mahomes at 6, really then make a bet on the Chiefs being, the 99 Rams kind of thing, or what, the 2000 Rams, whatever it was. 99 Rams is when they were really good. 2001 is when they lost to the Patriots. Guy in slot 4 team, kind of insane. You mean my team? Thank you, Hoovian. I don't know if you were doing a bit here, but yeah, slot 4 is crushing it. I agree. The 104. What a brilliant drafter, man. Who could have foreseen this guy coming back in? I had 2 days off of drafts, so I could have been rusty, but I think I've been putting on, I watched the other streams. I think Pete's doing a good job in his drafts. Liam always does a fine job in his drafts as well. I think I'm currently drafting the best teams right now in the industry on stream. I feel pretty good about that. But that's where I think me hopping in and being obsessive from the beginning part of January have given me a little bit of a, lead time on it. Okay. You're doing a bit. Well, you know what? I didn't know Hoovy and you were a new name, so I thought you could have been like, man, this guy in the 4 hole's crushing it. But all right. Fair enough. You got me. I still got to praise myself, though, so it's a win-win for everybody. Hey, if you enjoy hosts who could suck themselves off on stream figuratively and maybe literally, if the money were right, subscribe down below. Splash Play new drafts Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. every day here. Of course, the grind is on. Drafts every day. Missed a couple. I have to make those 2 up. I don't know when because we are unfortunately on parenting duty with daycare off tomorrow for Good Friday. And then also my mother-in-law not helping us out today because she's in Washington on a trip. So I'm not going to be able to make them up today or tomorrow, but I'll probably I might do a marathon stream one day next week, marathon to do 3 in a row. So stay tuned for that, but we will make it up here because I don't want to throw myself off pace. As the OCD for me. Hate missing 2 days, but it would not have been possible. Grabbing Dylan Lube to pair with Aeneas Smith. Okay, I missed the context for that one, but Aeneas Smith, yes, another name out there. If you are going to make your sex jokes, 2 easy ones to do it, I suppose. Really like my teams in the top 1 to 4 picks with 3 wide receivers first 2 rounds, and then Cook, Andrews, McBride, the 4th or 5th. I think that makes sense. I mean, I think you have to be mindful whenever you're doing something like that. Obviously, you're not picking in the 1 to 4 hole every draft, but make sure to break your tendencies a little bit. That's for me. I took James Cook there because I would happily take my 5th wide receiver, but in this room, it's not really a wide receiver avalanche room, so I don't need to press that hard. So I was willing to take Cook there, but obviously, being able to read those rooms, being able to try to hit different pockets, definitely a goal. So I think we have some game theory at play here. Obviously, Burrow would be a fine pick, but Addison, we want to get leverage on Justin Jefferson for week 17. So because we have the bet on Chase, we did make the bet on Jefferson. I think we make the bet on Addison here. And frankly, as a wide receiver 5, happy to do it at a very nice pick 69 here. Team so far, James Cook, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, and Jordan Addison is my team so far. Guy Wounded Geese asking how much Dobbins I have. I think I'm going to be low on Dobbins because I didn't get him a lot early in our rooms, and then people kind of scared me off on social media with the history of his injuries and all that. So I've been down on him a little bit. Checking my exposures right now in a separate tab just so I can give you guys that read. I'm at 14.6% Dobbins, so not bad. Definitely, it's about 6 drafts worth here in the big board. It looks like I don't think I took him in the little board at all. So I'm there. I think it's pick 200 or so where he's going for a large portion of things. He's probably too cheap, but you are getting, hoping for a historical overcoming of injuries for him right now. And that's a little bit tough, but he still has landing spots out there. Again, if he goes to Dallas as improved Tony Pollard, or, I think he's a more talented Tony Pollard, a more injured Tony Pollard, but a more talented Tony Pollard. He would crush. So he's not dead, but it is a little bit of, swimming upstream. All right, so we got a pick coming up here. Some good questions in the chat too. I appreciate that. Someone say marathon go. Yeah, you'd love that. Unfortunately, going to leave 5 stars in review. We do have our guy Chunk, though, tomorrow. Chunk, I think, do I owe you a DM reply? I know I have to set up the StreamYard and all of that, but Chunk, stay tuned to your DMs. I'll give you that. Usually don't do the links until the morning, but we'll figure that out. But our guy Chunk will be on tomorrow, our first guest host here who won it with 5 stars in review of Splash Play on the App Store. Or not of actually not a Splash Play, of probably, sorry. All right, so we're on the clock here again, 0150. Part of me wants to push Burrow and just see what comes back, but Burrow is a QB that I'm happy to take with guys. I think that going running back would be okay here as well, taking David Montgomery at a little bit of a discount, but I'll lock up the stack here. I'll take Joe Burrow. He is not Tua. He is a guy that should add value to the stack, should have the big upside, and also runs enough, unlike a Tua, where you're talking about very few runs, and they're very inefficient runs. For Burrow, he's running less than 5 times a game, but still efficient with them, so that's the main thing for me there. Burrow last year, negative 0.04 EPA per rush, so not great, but compared to Tua, negative 1.2 EPA per rush. So Tua, every time that he ran the ball past the line of scrimmage, he cost the team a point, basically, in terms of the EPA metrics. So not what you want to see for your QB runs. All right, Sip here asking thoughts on T. Higgins versus Jaden Reed this year. Similar range, both different kinds of uncertainty. So for Reed, the issue is you're running up against a really crowded, Green Bay Packers room where Wicks is going to be better. Watson should be healthier. They fired their training staff to get guys who are going to be better at healing hamstrings in there. So that's a good sign for Watson. Hopefully, at least if they're trying to solve for that. You still have Musgrave, who I think is great. You have Kraft. You have Dobbs, who I don't think is great. He's probably the least talented one in that room to me. So I think for Reed, the ADP has always been a little frothy from how I view it, but still I'm okay taking him. For Higgins, the outcome is that A, he comes back to Cincinnati. Things look a lot better. They're back being a Super Bowl contender. That'd be fine. B, he still can force a trade, and that would make his ADP come up. So I would probably take the mystery box for Higgins because he can come up, whereas Reed, Reed in this room went 57. So Reed's kind of coming down in some rooms. So that's how I would try to view it. I would take Higgins because he has a chance to make a leap upwardly if things were to change for him. Whereas Reed, nothing's going to change. It's going to be the same situation. And he's already frothy. Lots of good chats today. Appreciate all you guys being here, of course. Thank you for making this, I think, one of the best communities on YouTube. Definitely in the best ball space for sure, but appreciate all you guys both chatting amongst yourselves, throwing out some questions. Means a lot here. Independent thinker, thumbs up. Thank you. We love independent thought here. Who not the kind of independent thought, to be clear, about that Baltimore bridge falling down. That one was one. The social media response to that, I was like, holy shit, man. I hate I hate. It was really it. It was I hate, period, was how I felt about the social media response. Not everything's a conspiracy theory. This is the main thing. I'm sorry. I'm not that independent thinker as a conspiracy theorist, but that's where my brain went immediately. Appreciate your insight. Thank you, Sip. Appreciate you being here, bud. We're so great and handsome and pretty and awesome and have nice cocks or vagines. Yeah, all the vaginas we have here in chat. We have a few ladies who watch. I know that, but they're not as prominent in the chat for good reason. I get it. One day on Splash we'll have ladies' night, and the chat will just be nobody, nobody in it, sogging down. All right, Jalen Warren at 90. Raheem Mostert hovering around. Maybe not a great pocket for running back coming up here. Some guys I don't mind, but not a great pocket. Not a full robust pocket of options here, I guess would be the best way to say that. What else for me? Let's make a pick here, and I can talk. We'll talk a little more Miami. I did something interesting, guys. I'm going to talk about it. All right, 1150 here. Cleveland can take tight end and then really go in an RB run. There's going to be an RB run coming up, though. I'm going to go Mostert here because I think these guys need running backs. This guy's got 2. This guy's got 1. This guy's got 3, so he probably doesn't need it, but you just don't know. But I think this pocket here, this guy with 4 better not take a running back. There's enough guys here, though, who I think will want one that I want to make sure I get one of the decent ones. And Mostert, to me, I expect there to be something of a flip inning with Achane, but I don't think it's going to be 75-25. I think it's closer to 60-40, if not even just 50-50. So Mostert, to me, is still undervalued in drafts. Nothing pairs better with a young, supple rookie wide receivers than a nice tight end. That's true. I'm hoping I can push tight end back, but I didn't. I really wanted Njoku there, was what I was hoping. I was hoping these guys would go running back here, especially this guy. Pete Hobbs could use some running backs. Honestly, no. I guess with getting Achan at a discount, that's fine. So I guess I get why he got Njoku. I was willing to play the Cleveland-Cincinnati thing. One little thing you could do in your drafts right now, obviously we don't know the schedule, won't know it for a few more months, but you can make a guess here that there's a shot that Cleveland and Cincinnati, two teams that are the top of that division or amongst the top of that division, they could be matched up in week 17 because there's a shot that's the game then the NFL wants for these guys playing in for a playoff spot or playing for seeding or whatever the case may be, or maybe even an elimination game. Like that's really the NFL's nut spot. So I think a Cleveland-Cincinnati correlation, if you can get it here and there, would make sense, but I needed running back more. We got a bunch of chats. I'm going through everything. Lake Kasicki click makes sense now. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Would not mind that. What else we got? I think that's what it was, and I think my eyes glazed over when I saw it. So. But it's AirPods, right? Yeah, like you could wear AirPods. I don't use AirPods because my mic doesn't pick up the sound from the computer. But obviously, also on stream, I'm talking to myself, so the mic's only picking up me. But when I would do the streams with other people, I don't know. Some mics don't pick it up. So if you have a good mic, it won't pick up anything. But if you have a mic that picks up sound, so AirPods are fine. But I'll reply in DM still. I just completely forgot. It's been very hectic, guys. I have to present again, by the way, fucking next week. I have to do another startup presentation next Thursday. Thankfully in Philly, so we'll be okay there. All right, we're on the clock here. Who do we like? Would have been happy to take Zamir White, though. Still looming something could happen there. Brian Robinson, I don't mind. But again, we're breaking type a little bit more today. I'm going to go Trey Sermon here. Or Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon on the brain. The backup running back for the Colts I'm going to take here. I'm going to take Trey Benson here. Trey Benson, the hope at this point, and it does get more possible by the day that Dallas doesn't add anybody. Trey Benson going to Dallas would be the nut outcome for him. He wasn't great in college. As I talked about, the athletic profile, great. The EPA metrics, not so much. Did not add a ton of value every time he touched the ball. And people really, FSU fans, our guy Adam mentioned it, did see a little bit more on social media. People, again, caping for Keon Coleman, not caping so much for Trey Benson. I don't know why. I feel like Trey Benson, to me, makes a little more sense. The situation for a running back could be affected a lot more by offensive line, by things, by scheme and all of that. Whereas Keon Coleman, the defense for him is that he did really well in contested catches. The issue is that he was only catching contested catches. I still think Keon Coleman, to me, based off the analytics, I still think he's Kelvin Benjamin. You're not going to scare me off of that. There's a shot that Trey Benson is Devon Achane. So I'm going to take that shot personally. Oakland, where we're going back. Vegas is starting RB is likely a rookie being drafted after Zamir White. I don't think so, man. I think that Pierce is bullheaded enough. They've added Madison. It's possible they could be in the Benson game and the Brooks game. And I think Brooks make a lot of sense for them, where you run out, you give White some leash to have that first month. You bring Brooks along slowly, start him on the PUP list, and then let him come in like October, November, and hopefully be full go. But I don't know I just don't get the sense that's how Vegas thinks. But we'll see. Tom Telesco definitely going to change the equation a little bit there. But Vegas has always been such a bullheaded team, and Zamir White, everything they've given signal-wise is him being the starter. One guy who got bad news, by the way, about being a starter, Chuba Hubbard. Basically, Dave Canales said it's an open competition. Now, who's going to win that open competition between Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard? More likely going to be Chuba Hubbard, but Miles Sanders is still alive for it. So I think that I'd probably dock Chuba a little bit. I think people have been reaching for him in rooms I've been in lately. And honestly, I've reached for him too sometimes when I'm thin at running back. But I think you got to be a little more agnostic right now. Like that is officially an ambiguous backfield. Chuba more talented, but even then, how much more talented is he? Chuba, negative 0.07 EPA per rush, negative 0.26 EPA per pass last year. Miles Sanders was worse, negative 0.24 EPA per rush, negative 0.24 EPA per pass. 10% avoided tackle rate for Sanders last year. Chuba, or Kuba, as I just typed in. Chuba, 12.6%. These guys are basically the same player, like EPA-wise. I know we like Chuba more. I know a lot of people out there like Chuba more. I like Chuba more. These guys are kind of the same play. So I would be a little more agnostic about that one if you can. Remember, Raiders put up damn near 70 of the Chargers last year. The Chargers, though, were going the wrong way. That was when they had the special teams coach coaching them and whatever. And that was a tough seed, man. I don't know that I'd hold it against them. For this team, Chase Brown makes a lot of sense. We got the bet on Cincinnati. Chase Brown fell right in line here. Adams to the RB room, a 1-4-5-0. I haven't given the team a read. I apologize to the audio listeners. Joe Burrow at QB, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Trey Benson, who is not Trey Sermon, though honestly, maybe similar outcomes this year. Who knows? And Chase Brown, my fourth running back. Wide receiver, we went in early, and now we have dialed back. Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, and Jordan Addison are our picks at wide receiver. I like the team. As the Hoovian said earlier, this guy in the four holes crushing, whoever he may be, whoever this mystery man may be, who's apparently, I'm doing the Bat Tootsie. Fucking boomer ass reference if ever there were one, but I'm giving it to you nonetheless. Keon Coleman, the 130s is worth a click, though. He'll have the draft capital. His ADP has fallen. I don't know he's going to have the draft capital. I'm not confident in that. I don't know you could put up an athletic day like he did and have the draft capital be as high as people thought when you have so many stud athletes. Like, all right, I don't think our guy Adam is here today. I would take Ladd McConkey over Keon Coleman. I would take a lot of guys over Keon Coleman. I would take a shot on Worthy. I would take a shot. I would personally take Johnny Wilson over him. I know he's a little bit too big. We've talked about that, but like he got a lot better results in the same offense, getting a similar situation, earning more targets and all that. There's enough film guys who like Keon Coleman, but I could like analytically, there's just nothing there to me. Like he's one of the worst receivers in this class analytically, and he did nothing athletically. So what are we clinging to besides film guys going, yeah, man, I don't know. They really threw it up for him. Like I'm just tired of seeing that take. But you know, everybody's opinions are as valid at this time of year. The wheat will separate from the chaff come September, October, November, December. Got a lot of time, guys. Got a lot of time. Got 6 months. We got 6 months left. We're on the clock here. Troy Franklin fell right back to me. Am I living in a dream world right now? Troy Franklin at pick 124. Haven't seen that in a while. 1460. Kirk Cousins would make sense too. We'll see. See what happens with Kirk. I'm happy to get sniped on Kirk, to be honest. Kirk is big upside, to be clear. I like Kirk, but Troy Franklin at 124 is my wide receiver 6. We're doing it. We're doing that. How much are you weighing guys who can double duty as return guys to new kickoff rules? So that's interesting. The Chiefs added a rugby player who apparently they're doing it. He's like a running back / wide receiver, but they mostly added him because of the kickoff rules. I don't know what to do with that because kickoff returns for touchdowns are so infrequent. They should go up a little bit. Like there's going to be more viable returns, but I don't know if that makes touchdowns go up meaningfully enough. So like you could maybe like give a little bit of a boost to Xavier Worthy, but he's getting boosted enough already for a guy who wasn't great in college. So I personally wouldn't focus on it too much, but I think, you know, the smaller guys, the Malachi Corleys, the Xavier Worthy's, guys who are burners, who can be a kick returner, you can go that way. But also sometimes teams don't play like the guys at kick return if they do, like if they're an important part of the team. So like if Xavier Worthy goes to somewhere and they're like, man, this guy is a key part of our future. He's our Tank Dell. They might not put him on kickoff return. So I would try not to bake it in, but I get why you would try. I just personally wouldn't. Oh, thank you. Try to jump the draft room just now to snipe Franklin for me. I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, man, this room been a nice clean draft here once again, which I appreciate. Though I did give the people who are paying members here, did ping the Discord channel. Of course, if you are a Splash Play Sports Squad member, you hit that join button down below for under $5 a month, $4.99 a month. In fact, put that penny to good use. You can go and get the Deposit Kingdom Discord access right now. So hit that one, check the link in the description if you are a paying member here. If Tyler just gave you a free membership, go take advantage of that. Hop into the Sports Squad VIP channel. So Cousins goes at 131. I was going to try to push him all the way around, but the guy who has Kyle Pitts needed him along with his Dak and Kyler Murray stack. So this guy doesn't prioritize wide receiver. I'll tell you what, he's got 3. He's got Devontae Smith, Marquise Brown, and Romeo Dobbs, but he needed that third QB right now, so we will not get our discount in Kirk Cousins, which I'll survive with, but I'm always going to try to push the value if I can. Really? Is that true? That can't be true. No, because FanDuel does, and they have FanDuel scoring. I don't think that's true. Somebody confirmed for me, though, but I honestly wouldn't know because it's not something I'm like, I don't think there even were any real kickoff returns of like actual guys last year. But if in the past, like everything for Underdog is 1-to-1 with FanDuel, and FanDuel definitely counts it. 1460 here. See what we do. Good wide receiver pocket, but we don't need wide receiver. All right, so I was going to be happy to take Jerome Ford. Again, a little shot here at Cincinnati-Cleveland, Week 17. Maybe a shot somebody else correlates with Ford, but I still think Jerome Ford undervalued. Deonta Foreman going to be there, but he's going to be doing that Kareem Hunt role. He's going to be taking away goal line touches. He's going to be taking away maybe some short yardage work. But Ford, to me, Ford earned enough of a role. Chubb is still there as well, though Chubb like to start on the pup list. For Ford, I think he's the young back there. He's more talented than Foreman, better pass catcher than Chubb, and he's got juice. And we're entering this is year 3, I think, right? It's year 3 or year 4 for him. I think it's year 3. They do score kickoff returns. Remember from Mims last year. There we go. All right, so confirmed. Underdog does score kickoff returns, which I thought was the case. I just, it's not a thing I prioritize. Yeah, any TDs were scored. There you go. Well, not defensive, but besides that. But if you were to fumble on it, like if somebody fumbles the ball and you grab it, it's still a touchdown for you too. So yeah, they score everything. Marshawn Lloyd, pick 144. Nice pick for Brady Gaga here. The one celebrity relationship we all were wishing for finally happens here. Justin Fields at 145, just subjectively a bad pick. Should be in the 190s at this point. Maybe 170s, but eh. All right, 1560 here. I see a couple interesting plays that we can make. I am once again starving myself at tight end, which I do a lot. I like to make up at volume on tight end. Wish they would state that in scoring on the draft homepage. Look, you said it here. We have a lot of our friends at Underdog, Hope and Numi. I know Hope has asked me feedback questions before, so maybe one of them will hear you. But, just assume that they're going to score a touchdown, I guess. Drake May is going to be my pick here. We have a shot to get him to Minnesota. If he goes to Minnesota, that is going to be absolutely gangbusters news for Jordan Addison. I mean, it's going to be great for Jefferson too, but for Addison, it's going to be him getting 2 deep shots a game, I would guess, which would put him right away in the upper echelon of the league. For comparison, Mike Evans 1.9 per game last year. I think that Addison gets you that 1.9, if not, 2 and change. Jordan Addison to be a great pick at the spot. Cordell Patterson's ADP is going to skyrocket. Yeah, he's a Steeler now, so everything's going to work out well, and he's going to find a way to ruin days for Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. But what a basic bitch move by Arthur Smith. Really, you bring in the guy who you couldn't help but feed touches to for the last few years. Your little safety blankie there, but Patterson's got to be 33, I would think. Isn't he the one that didn't he fuck Davis Maddox's girlfriend or something? Isn't that the thing? I know somebody in chat's gonna know what I'm talking about. Yeah, 33 years old. So he is a lot of miles on the tires. Nah, whatever. Arthur Smith gonna do Arthur Smith things. Am I playing MLB today? No. I actually need to get access to the Sims. I have to ask somebody there, but I don't have the bandwidth right now. I'm so fucking swamped. This next week's gonna be crazy for us with probably stuff. So unfortunately not, but would recommend though if you guys are playing MLB, especially early in the season, Stochastic Sims tool is a great thing to add to your process. For MLB in particular, I know from my days there, I always felt like such an asshole because my MLB results were barely break even a little bit worse than that. It was just a sport I've always had a tough time with, but it was honestly because the Sims tools and all that stuff that they have there, they've always been running some version of that for themselves behind the scenes. Those guys have gotten tremendous results in MLB because the stacking and the correlation, nothing in Sims will benefit you as much as I think for MLB. So I would really recommend if you want to try an MLB, get 50% off right now at Stochastic. Use their data, use their tools. Those guys have made a lot of money off MLB. NBA is probably close to 1-to-1, but it's the most analytically predictable sport, and especially building stacks and all that. You're going to get a lot of great leverage stacks, the sim tools. So I'd really recommend that. But I need to figure it out. I would like to play some MLB though. Now that I'm playing sports that are not NBA sometimes. NBA too, I saw got rid of the fucking $4 150 maxes, which so stupid. I was enjoying that a lot. I don't know why they don't do things that bring me joy more, but DraftKings got rid of them, at least for now. In tanking season, if nothing else. Yeah, Patterson and Davis are Eskimo bros. That's it. My best Eskimo bro, which I don't know if it's the best. Well, Dave from Barstool's one of them, so there's one. The best one though, Rami Malek, Oscar winner, is one of my Eskimo bros. Girl I used to see briefly in LA. Was a makeup artist for Burberry, I think, for one of the big fashion brands. Makeup / designer, fashion designer. I don't know what the fuck the role was, honestly. I forget what it was. Point being, she met him and very unprofessionally fucked Rami Malek. From a photo shoot. But one of the coolest Eskimo bros to have, I think. Me and a fucking crazy auteur kind of actor, I'm on board with that. So suck it. Cordell, you could have Cordell Patterson. You could have Cordell Patterson hollowing out that girl. I'll take Rami Malek's probably average sized dick, doing an okay job and giving me a compelling guy to talk about. 2560 here. Michael Mayer's on the board. We desperately need tight end. He will be our salvation here. Love this team so far. Joe Burrow, Drake May at QB, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Trey Benson, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford at running back, wide receiver Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, Jordan Addison, Troy Franklin, and tight end Michael Mayer, who still cannot earn himself a headshot. They do not respect him, and we're going to put that chip on his shoulder. Much like Malik Neighbors said, hey, people thought I was going to run a 4.5, 4.6. Michael Mayer's going to be like, Underdog doesn't give me a fucking headshot? I got a chip on my shoulder, buddy. We're talking about the league thing, the EBDB, BNB. I missed the BNB part of that, but yes, I'm like, I don't know that you really want to know that stuff, but it's fun in hindsight. Like if it's your wife, you probably don't want to know. Like I don't really want to know who Alex fucked with. I know too many. It's people in her fucking friend group. So, I don't need to know. I don't need to know that from like my actual life partner. For people that you like dated briefly, it's interesting if nothing else. Going to try a test stream after this with the Drafters MLB basketball draft. Anyway. Chunk thinks this is going to be the big break for his media career. I think it's and I hope it is for you, Chunk. It hasn't been for me, but maybe it will be for you. But Chunk will be on here tomorrow. And again, if you want to get the next guest hosting spot, they're going to be rolling every month here. We'll give them away. And at the end, probably everybody leaves a review for probably 5 stars and a review. We'll be entered to win a guest hosting spot here. And we'll probably do again like a marathon stream like we did last year, where anybody who didn't win a solo one, I'll probably have on in the end. The spoiler alert there. So just help us out. Leave 5 stars or review for probably on the App Store. I'll leave a link in the pinned comments. And if you want a 7-day free trial as well for MLB, check that out. All right. 2561 here. You know, I can add a little more potential correlation. We have the Minnesota outcome potentially for Drake May. We can add in the New England outcome. I wouldn't mind taking Gibson, but Hunter Henry, I need tight end more. So I'm going to take Hunter Henry as my second tight end. So again, the hope here, we have correlation with Cincinnati. We have Burrow. We have Chase Brown. We have Jamar Chase. Maybe we'll add Gesicki late. We'll find out. We got Drake May here. The hope is that we can correlate him with either Jordan Addison or Hunter Henry. Maybe a shot you can get him with one of Odunze or Neighbors too. Somebody really scheming the draft would be a way to do that. Drafters running their MLB basketball drafts up to first pitch. All right, well, we'll give them the plug then. If you want to go check out Drafters, promo code SPLASH on there, double your deposit to $100. Definitely Drafters too does some loyalty reward stuff. So check that out on Drafters. Unfortunately, I've not done the fancy ad for them because they haven't paid me in a while. So, but at some point, that's on me. I probably should be reaching out to Drafters. But I just, I enjoy drafts. I feel like I want to do Drafters more in the summer than I do at this point, personally. But that's probably an EV thing to be doing more drafts on Drafters. I think I'll be able to catch someone live. Looking forward to seeing Chunk on Splash. But shout out, yeah, look, the regulars here, seeing you guys on stream. Chunk is a new one. Some of the other guys here, Mathology, Bindles, who were on that wheel. Those guys I've done streams before. So, but Chunk on here, Robert Griffin the Turd, seeing him hopefully at some point this summer or the spring/summer. Gonna have some, hopefully more of the community on here. And at some point, I do think I'm gonna go back to doing guest booking. Don't really want to, but I think I'm gonna just to spice things up a little bit. So some fun to perhaps come up here. Not every day, though, to be clear. This is still Spags show. This is still me just extrapolating, rambling, bitching, complaining, talking about Rami Malek's dick. That's what I'm doing here. I don't need guests for that. Tez Walker, Ricky Pearsall. Honestly, lovely picks this range for these guys. Again, freak athletes everywhere. Roman Wilson, freak athlete. It's really the thing for me. That's why when we talk about Keon Coleman in the 130s, you got Ladd, freak athlete. You got Troy, who's a freak athlete. You got Coleman, who's not. You got none of the rookies here. You got Leggett, who's a freak athlete. You got Roman Wilson, who's a freak athlete. You got Pearsall. You got Tez. And all these guys, too, actually performed on some ways in college. I've been critical of Tez Walker. He did accumulate a lot of air yards, did accumulate a lot of targets downfield, accumulated the most air yards, in fact, out of anybody in college football. So, for me, I think that these guys a little bit underappreciated. And for Pearsall to be as good as he was this past year while losing AR, who's just going to be a willing downfield thrower, really impressive for Pearsall. Obviously, the athletic stuff that he showed, equally impressive too. Okay, can't wait to do for the DK drafts. Oh boy, at some point they'll be back. Thank God DK doesn't have the. DK is so stupid, man. Really, this is everything they do. I'm sure you guys saw as well the news item that was out there about DraftKings, BetMGM, Fanatics, them all working together to create a responsible gaming platform. The concern is that they might share data to limit customers. Personally, don't think that's going to happen, but it is a little bit spooky to have them all in the same thing. And one of the betting guys out there, I think Captain Jack, who was formerly of Unabated, I don't know if he's still there, had tweeted something out, like it was a quote from some fucking old British politician or something that's like, the only time that the rich get together, or rich in the same industry get together, is to screw over like the regular people, basically. And we'll see. Definitely possible, but sports betting, man, obviously I'm very much in the weeds with it with probably, but it's there could be stuff that changes around there, and there should be. Frankly, sportsbooks shouldn't be able to limit you, would really be the biggest thing. Or they should have universal limits. It shouldn't be individual. They should be able to share data to keep profitable customers off. Like there's nothing else in the fucking world that does that. Maybe insurance would be the closest thing, but even that's not the same. 2562 here is the team. We have Roshan falling. Could scoop him. Frankly, wouldn't hate it. It's not like a sexy pocket, but this is a perfectly functional pocket. Rico Dowdle, I don't mind. I'm going to take the shot on Roshan here because this is one where I don't have the full Chicago bet, so I can kind of make the mental gymnastics there where I don't have DeAndre Swift, I don't have Caleb, I don't have Moore and Allen, or at least one of those two guys. So I'm going to take Roshan here in this team. Then maybe this team can bubble up if Roshan somehow gets the yes outcomes in terms of his scoring, and the guys who we actually expect to score for Chicago somehow do not. Right here, right now, my man. Okay. We're talking about the guy from Mr. Robot. Yes, and Bond villain. A Bond villain as well, and Freddie Mercury. Again, eclectic career. So one of the coolest Eskimo bros. Doesn't anyone believe the Browns got formed because his knee ain't right? Nobody says it. We're talking about Chubb. I mean, he's definitely insured to get Chubb, but the expectation is Chubb starts the year on the PUP list, so he's probably going to be out that first month. But yeah, an ACL recovery for a guy his age who's got the tread on his tires. It's not a lock that he's going to get back from that. In fact, it's going to be tough. It'll be an uphill battle for him. But Foreman is, again, he's just a goal line back. Like, I do think Ford gets most of the between the 20s work. And Ford still, if he's running hot, like he's going to get, he's going to get other touches as well. All right, 2662 here. Do you think with us not taking RB early, I guess, well, we took Cook, but we're definitely not like a great RB room. Can go to 7 here. And I probably will go to 7 in this room. I was willing to take Rico with that last pick. Boy, my guys, my poor boys here, Bucky and Audric Estime falling. Man. Burrow May. I could just play the Chicago backfield with Herbert too. I guess I'll take the shot at Rico here. Like, what if Dallas just does nothing? It's not likely to happen, but what if they do nothing? Rico's still too cheap for that outcome, and here he was even cheaper. Normally, Rico going at a 169 ADP. I got, whoa, that's a value hunting. That's almost 30 spots after ADP. So, steal a Pete bit that he's retired, I believe, because Pete, much like me, gets sick of bits very quickly. But then I see his bits, and I go, let me steal that. Give me a little taste. So there we go. Number 14, like, we only have 14 likes. Guys, please smash that like button. I know sometimes it doesn't update in real time, so it might be more, but guys, help a brother out. Smash that like button here. Again, your like helps me get seen by more people. And this is me working hard. Obviously, I do this. These are my 2 jobs. So your help really does matter a lot here. If you dream of doing this yourself, pay it fucking forward and do it for me right now. And of course, I appreciate the support a bunch here from all you guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, all of that. Show the love. Yes, please show the love. It's 75 people watching live. Help out, guys. Means a lot more than you guys know. Really, truly. Like, I know it's one of those things that you get tired of. Get a little ad blind too, because people always go and, hey, like and subscribe on YouTube. Like, opening videos with that, I never plug really the first 20 minutes of the show. I try to earn your guys' trust, earn your views, earn it with the takes and the data, all things we do here. So that's always the process, and that's always my promise here. You will see me go through the mental gymnastics, talk about the game theory, talk about the QBs we don't want to draft in stacks. That's it. I will say one guy here that, frankly, should be getting drafted in stacks more. Derek Carr. Derek Carr, I hope this guy has New Orleans, but yeah, he doesn't have any New Orleans. Maybe Juwan Johnson? He's got Juwan Johnson. That's just a savvy stack. Like, Derek Carr, it's so odd that he's the one guy that performed really well at the end of the season, carried teams through rounds of the playoffs, and nobody wants to take him, even though he's in the exact same situation. They're more locked in for him. So that's a weird one. Chris Brooks gets drafted by Shoe Stork. Just an awful pick. It's not. This guy made a good move here with Carr and Johnson. I don't know what you're playing with Chris Brooks. Because then Miami added another running back this offseason too, right? They signed. I thought they added somebody. ESPN's loves their depth chart as Mostert, Achan, Wilson, Ahmed. I thought they added one more guy. Either way, Chris Brooks goes here. Sure. Bring back shirtless guy and the likes will skyrocket. Yeah, nothing a bunch of dudes like more than looking at looking at the fellas shirtless. Carr, Johnson, Perry. I like that as a late stack. Dude, I'm in on A.T. Perry. Having Cedric Wilson there mucks it up a little bit, but I think he's more talented. Gesicki goes. I was hoping I could get Gesicki with the next pick. I don't know why this guy took him. This guy's not doing a good draft, but it's okay. Tyler Boyd, not going to be back at Cincinnati. Really not a point in doing that one. I need more receivers. Malik Washington, a guy, while I'm taking a few guys a little bit out of type, Washington was a good enough athlete at the combine to make me feel better about his numbers. Really beat up mid competition at Virginia a little bit with some of his numbers, but did earn targets at a high rate and is a good enough athlete. So at pick 213, I will take him. And I will read the team. We'll wait until we make the set pick. Then I'll read the team. Tolbert is ass cheeks, not missing out. We talk about Jalen Tolbert. I don't think he's ass cheeks. He's going to move up. Gallup got cut. He'll have a shot. I don't think he's going to be like a great play necessarily, but Tolbert, I don't think Tolbert was awful last year, was he? Yeah, Tolbert should have been better for a guy getting downfield targets. Negative 0.01 EPA per target, 0.5 deep targets per game, only a 0.22 EPA on those. 14.4 air yards per target, though, so he's getting at least shots. I don't know. I'm all right with Tolbert a little more than that. But don't need biggest drafts? No, because I'm just conserving bankroll. I have to, I'm paying out of pocket to pay for Probably's bills every month. So probably will be investing more in best ball for my personal usage once we get funding for Probably. But all my money just goes to funding the business right now, which is the one thing about startups people don't talk about enough. If you want to make a business, you got to strap in and be willing to fucking burn. Brendan Rice goes. Would have liked Brendan Rice, actually, but it's okay. Oh, all right. A little bit on Atlanta. I forgot Rondale Moore is still here. Don't think this ADP is correct. Rondale Moore, round 19 pick here. Team so far, Joe Burrow, Drake May, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Trey Benson, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson, Rico Dowdle. So probably didn't need 7 running backs in this one because we did take the somewhat early pick on James Cook. But I always like to go a little bit more certain. And again, we only got 4 guys before pick 120. So that's the logic here if you're trying to figure out, how to manage your draft capital buckets. This to me felt like one that was going to be good. Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, Jordan Addison, Troy Franklin, Malik Washington, Rondale Moore. So you have a little bit of Atlanta correlation here. Some rookies I think are undervalued still. Troy Franklin going at 124 in this room. I'm happy to scoop that up. And then Neighbors and Dunze, we went of our way to get, but I do like that. Making a play against the most popular rookie, Marvin Harrison Jr. At tight end, Michael Mayer, Hunter Henry. I don't think this is a 2 tight end build. I would like to add one more here, but I don't think it's a must. I think Mayer makes a leap upwards this year. No Hooper in the way. Hooper now in the way of Hunter Henry, technically, in New England. Let's see. Who are we talking about? I don't know what you guys are on here. So finished the draft. We got sniped on Carr with Shaheed and Kendre stack. I like that one. I also like a Kendra stack too. Kendra, a great hot girl name. But Kendre, I think Carr stacks again. It's just, as I've mentioned a lot of times here, and it really hasn't changed. This is a bad pick. Taysom Hill, 221. Objectively a bad pick. He's not a tight end anymore. Don't do it. Great pick at tight end last year when he was going in the 180s, 190s. I scooped that up a lot, and it helped out my portfolio. At QB, he's not adding enough for you, especially when you have Purdy and Jalen. That's fucking stupid. You have Jalen Hurts and Brock Purdy, and you're taking whatever. You can't save them all, guys. You can't save them all. Gonna be a quick out today, guys, because I got to go do baby duty. Hold on. Let me just text the wife. All right. Trey Sermon. I mean, I guess I could add him to Trey Benson, but I don't want to have 8 running backs. I don't think I need that. Bo Nix. Still think he in Denver. Still think it's him in Denver. I think McCarthy in New England, or McCarthy and May go to New England and Minnesota. And then Denver is like, well, Bo Nix, good enough. And I think they'd be perfectly happy with Bo Nix too. All right, last pick here, then we'll do a hot exit real fast. But back tomorrow with our guy Chunk the Deuce. So come tune in, come support our guy Chunk here and see what he can do on camera to launch his illustrious YouTube streaming career. So come on back for that one tomorrow at 11 a.m. if you can. Denver, nowhere really. I guess that's a fair way to look at it. I mean, he could be a backup too. I think a lot of GMs think that he can be a backup. But I think if he's a backup, to me, he's like a Brock Purdy backup that he should be live to do something interesting. Darren Waller has not retired despite some reports out there from aggregators that are not correct. Dulcich, Dawson Knox. So this is fucking hideous. I'm going to take another share of Ben Sinnott. It's been a while, but still like him enough. Tight end 3. That'll be the choice. Final team here. Joe Burrow, Drake May, James Cook, Raheem Mostert, Trey Benson, Chase Brown, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson, Rico Dowdle at running back. Wide receiver, Jamar Chase, Drake London, Malik Neighbors, Romo Dunze, Jordan Addison, Troy Franklin, Malik Washington, Rondale Moore. If this rookie class is great, this team is fucking awesome. This rookie class is not what it seems, then these 3 guys are going to have to carry a lot of water, but I like the picks. And Michael Mayer, Hunter Henry, Ben Sinnott. Ben Sinnott still floating around out there, guys. And with Javian Sanders going the wrong way, Sinnott can go the right way. There you go, guys. There's your plugs. Again, subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. We appreciate it all here. It all helps out the algorithm. All helps me get seen by more people. Helps me make more money. Helps me get more people in, which then can help me build out this channel more. I'm very open to doing more of the channel, having more people on, having even shows that don't involve me on. But we got to get the numbers where it's actually worth doing that. So hit that like button, subscribe if you want more content here that's like this. That would be the promise here. Of course, Underdog, promo code SPLASH on there. Double your deposit to $100. Probably my baby. MLB's coming out. We have MLB bets going on right now. Really aggressive probably scores on them too. I think there's a lot of confidence from the international markets because the MLB lines in the U.S. not going to be that efficient day one. So check it out for yourself. Probably.com/subscribe. Promo code SPLASH will get you 50% off on there. You can also get a 7-day free trial as well as leave 5 stars in a review to get a potential guest hosting spot in the pinned comments down below that I will leave after the fact. Stochastic, if you want to play MLB DFS today, I wouldn't do it without Stochastic's tools. 15% off. Give it a trial for MLB. Really do think for MLB in particular, it'll be a market advantage over the field. Check it out. 15% off on Stochastic with the promo code SPLASH. Link in the description too. And all these, and drafters. Promo code SPLASH on there. Thank you, Squirt Squad. Hit the join button too. $4.99 a month if you want to join this one. And I'll be back tomorrow with more. So I will see you guys then along with our pal Chunk. So enjoy your days and good luck. Bye.